Good morning, everyone. I am Shweta Sarangi, and in your third semester, I will going to teach you about the environmental studies. So, in the previous class, we have studied about the components of ecosystem or the structure of ecosystem. Okay, so uh, there are two types of structure of ecosystem. One is our abiotic structure and second one is our biotic structure. So all the living things that are present in an ecosystem is called as our biotic structure. So it includes plants, animals and microorganisms which are present in an ecosystem is are called as our biotic structures, and it can be further classified into producer, consumer and decomposers. So our biotic structure is again subdivided into two. One is our mainly they are dependent on the basic of source of energy and material. So first is our autotrophic and second is our heterotrophic. So autotrophic means they are the producers who can produce their own food. Okay, and next is our heterotrophic, those who cannot produce food. They are dependent on the producers. Okay, so these are called as consumers. Okay, next is our abiotic structure. So abiotic structure means that is though the non-living components are present in an ecosystem are comes under the abiotic structure. So again it is mainly divided into two. First one is our materials or chemical factor and second is our energy or physical factor. So without the energy or material or chemical, we cannot sustain or survive in this world. So we have studied that things in the previous chapter, that was our natural resources. So now we are going to study about the categorical division for biotic structure. As before I said that it is divided into three types. First one is our producer, second is our consumer and third is our decomposer. So producers are mainly those who can produce their own food by using the sunlight as their energy, and they can synthesize it by a process that is called as our photosynthesis. Okay, next is our consumer. Consumers are those who are totally dependent on the producers because they cannot synthesize their own food. So we people are the animals, the plant animals, the human beings, the are the uh, are the consumers. Okay, so again consumer is subdivided into two, macro consumers and micro consumers. So again macro consumers is divided into three. First one is our primary consumers, secondary consumers and third is our tertiary consumers. Okay, next is decomposer. Decomposer is also known as micro consumers. Okay, so these are the living component of the ecosystem which break down complex compounds of dead protoplasm of producers and consumers to simple inorganic compounds, and it ultimately into organic nutrients. Okay, so the role of decomposer is inevitable as they are responsible for uh, completion of ecosystem mineral cycle. So these are also known as micro consumers, saprop, saprophyte or saprotrophs. Okay, so mainly these the decomposer uh, complete the complete the ecosystem mineral cycle. First one is our producer, then consumer, then decomposer. Again, it return back to the producer. Okay. Next is our omnivores. Who are omnivores? Every organism that consumes both animals as well as plants as its food is termed as an omnivore. We are the omnivore because we people are some of we are vegetarian and some of we are non-vegetarian, mm, and also some of are omnivore because we are having the animals as well as plants products. So we are the omnivores. Next is our top carnivores. Who are they? Some organisms like lion, vulture, they are not killed or really killed, and eaten by other animals, they constitute the top carnivores. Suppose, because we cannot kill the lion and vulture, but if they are really killed by an animal and eaten by the other animals, then they constitute as our the top carnivores. Okay. Next is our detritivores. Detritivores, who are they? These are the bottom living with survival with survive all minimum organic death rate as from autotrophic layers. For example, beetles, termite, ants and crabs, etc. Okay. So our decomposer is finished. So our categorical division of the biotic structure is over. Okay. Next, we are going to study about the function of ecosystem. What are the functions of ecosystem? Okay, so what are the functions we are going to study about that? Functioning of the ecosystem is self-regulating and self-sustaining. It can regulate it can self-regulate and self-sustain. So it mainly depends upon the flow of energy, cycling of materials and changes both intrinsic and extrinsic. Okay. So it is a dynamic concept with four functional phases. It has four functional phases. First one is our energy flow in an ecosystem. How energy flows in an ecosystem, how energy comes from the sun, and how they utilize, how much percentage we are utilizing, how much percentage is again absorbed by the earth surface, again it return back to the sun, and how much percentage is used by the plants, plants for their photosynthesis, these things. Okay, how energy flow in an ecosystem, or how the energy flows in an trophic level. Trophic levels means first it will come to the producers, there some energy loss and they also utilize some energy, then again it comes to the consumers, which is the next trophic level. In that level also some energy is used and some of the energy get lost, then some of the energy again pass to the third level or the third trophic level, that is decomposers, and also they are utilizing some amount of energy, and also also there is a loss of this energy. Okay. Next is our food chain, food web and ecological pyramid. Then is our biogeochemical cycles. Then is our ecological succession. So our main important thing is the energy flow in an ecosystem, food chain, food web, and what are the ecological pyramid. And the next one is our ecological succession. So these three are very important. And next is our biogeochemical cycles. Okay, understood. Next, we are going to study about the energy flow in an ecosystem. How energy flows. In the previous slides, I told you about the trophic levels. So we are also going to study about that how much each trophic level consumes how much amount of energy. Okay. So we know that energy we cannot destroy it or we cannot create it. So it's the capacity of doing work that's called our energy. So, energy is needed for every biological activity. Okay, so solar energy is transformed into chemical energy by a process of photosynthesis. This energy is stored in plant tissue and then it transferred into mechanical and heat formed during metabolic activities. In the biological world, the energy in the biological world, the energy flows from sun to plants and then to all uh, all heterotrophic organisms like nitroorganisms, animals and man. That is from producers to consumers. Okay, 1% of the total sunlight falling on the green plants is utilized in photosynthesis. Okay, only 1% of the total sunlight is utilizing in the photosynthesis process, and this is sufficient to maintain all life on this earth. There is no 100% flow of energy from producers to consumers. Some is always um, lost to environment. Because of this, energy cannot be recycled in an ecosystem. It can only flow one way. It cannot recycle it. Okay, it only flow in one way. Okay, understood?